Wait, what is that? Is that an electrical hum? Wait, what is that? Oh, it's the Niners power station. I'm Doc Faisal, orthopedic surgeon with Move Smarter Health. We are sponsored by an educational grant from Kinesi Movement. I love sports. I love talking about injuries. I take care of shoulder and knee injuries, and I operate and treat on them. And please consider this an educational, informative video only. Here we go. Yes, we're going to talk about the Niners power station because, I know what you heard. I gave a whole chatterbox about it where there was the possibilities. I had a whole devil's advocate, advantages, disadvantages, likelihood scenario and the possibilities, and even positing the possibility that, hey, it could be possible, just based on theoretical evidence of what we could or could not measure and what clinical and non-clinical studies are actually out there in terms of what we're actually looking at in athletes that are at the 99th percentile of stressing their bodies. And, we know these athletes, some people call it superstition. Like if you think about, some of the tennis players that have their their spiel, they got to put their water bottles in a place. They got to wipe their eyebrows. They have 12 moves before they actually swing their racket, right? Everyone has something like that to some extent. Their favorite necklace, their favorite whatever, right? So for me, it's deodorant. Seriously, we're talking power. Now, is it a nothing burger? I'm not going to say it's a nothing burger. Again, if at any point in your life you make these superlatives, except when you're dad. When you're a dad, you're allowed to make superlatives and tell your kids the way it is no matter what. They're not around, so they can't hear it, right? So, but a nothing burger, I don't know. If I were to actually scrutinize and actually be overly critical about everything that I understand and read about electromagnetic fields and the power station and what could or could not be happening in the context of a human athlete performing at 99th percentile, I cannot personally say or agree that it's a nothing burger. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying it's a fact. I just find that there are enough theoretical observations and theoretical science and some science that suggests that there could be something affecting the human capacity and potential in athletes that are stressing their bodies to the 99th percentile of fitness and extreme of their sport that may not affect regular humans who are just walking around or sitting and vibing or coding, but it could affect the athletes. So what does that mean? Well, it means that honestly, we don't have enough information. We don't have the long-term studies to show that. We could actually pose the same question about how there was lack of understanding about concussions. In the medical field, we understood concussions are real, they happen. Now, with concussions and head injuries, you see it, you notice it right away. How they dealt with it in sports was very different. Now, is this along the same lines? It's not to the same extent because for all we know, like we said, it could take 1 to 3 years. It could take 3 to 5 years. That's considered long-term. 12 to 24 months is a short-term study. Well, in some respects, but then you get long-term clinical outcomes studies beyond the 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year. Long-term studies and overall natural history are like 20-year studies. And so there's a lot we don't understand. The boxer today can easily say, I wish I knew what a concussion and head injuries meant 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? Well, I think we're just understanding this concept with the electromagnetic fields and the human interaction component. And there may be more science than we actually know. So from my perspective, I think that most of the data suggests that it doesn't have a measurable effect, but I think there's enough that there could be theoretical, observable possibilities that we just don't have enough information on yet. So I think the jury's out.
If you owned the 49ers, would you move the power substation?
Ooh.
Just in case.
Oh, if I owned the 49ers, I would have to have a lot of money if I owned the 49ers, which I don't, right? So if I owned the 49ers and I'm hearing this from my players, I would do a deep dive from everyone that I know. And if there's a possibility of losing athletes or athletes not coming to me and I'm not getting those athletes, I would do what it takes. Now, it was kind of like a politician's answer. I didn't actually say I would move the power station. I probably would. Not the power station, but the entire field. Because why is it in Santa Clara? Move out of Santa Clara!
Going back to San Francisco.
It's like, that was, I can't tell you how bad a mistake that was. The Warriors got prime location. The Giants have prime location. And the Niners, you went to Santa Clara. I don't get it. Anyway, so if you're going to move it back to the city. Just take up a big amount of space. The market's about to crash. Oops, I don't know that. But who knows, right? So buy some property, get some commercial real estate. I mean, commercial real estate is just getting crushed right now. Just buy up some properties and buildings and redo it. Give humans jobs. Like, do it again. Save the athletes and put some people to work. Let's do it. So that's the real answer. Gotcha.